Hey, what's going on, everyone? As always, it's an absolute pleasure to be streaming for you today. Moon Chicken coming in first. JK, man, you're slipping. We got Zero Legacy, Latency Manifestation, Scarbo in the house, Shagzilla, Doc Bob D, Freddy. Yeah, Luke in here, Linux for PHP. Cool, Skylar as well. Well, as I said, I hope everyone's having a great weekend so far. And for those of you who may be hiding under a rock, you may have missed a recent interview with Tim Rowley and the CEO of the Flare Network, Hugo Filion. And in particular, today, Hugo revealed some very interesting news as far as I'm concerned. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about this today. So I've created a very short presentation, and then we're going to go over some news after that. So let's talk about Hugo's big idea. So let's talk about the Flare Network. Today, as I said, in an interview with Tim and Hugo, Hugo disclosed a concept regarding virtual machines running on the Flare Network. Moon Chicken with the 100 bomb. Keep up the great work, my friend. Love the news and updates. Man, thank you so much for the 100 bomb. There it is. Oh, I love playing that. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate that. And, you know, you're an absolute legend. I've never seen you tip anything less than $100. It's absolutely crazy, man. Thank you so much. So the Flare network currently integrates the Ethereum virtual machine, or it's commonly known as the EVM. And this is the virtual machine for the most used smart contract platform in the world right now, which is Ethereum. Now, let's just quickly talk about what is a virtual machine. So in computing, a virtual machine is the virtualization or the emulation of a computer system. Virtual machines are based on computer architectures and provide functionality of a physical computer. So translating that into the world of cryptocurrency, to put it in a very simple terms, these virtual machines are often used to process smart contracts on a network. Obviously, we have the Ethereum virtual machine, which is integrated with the Flare network. So let's just talk a little bit about that. The smart contracts, which are executed on the Ethereum virtual machine, are written in a language called Solidity. And Solidity is a coding language which is predominantly used in Ethereum. In fact, the developers of Ethereum actually created it. And this has its own advantages and its own disadvantages as well. Now, many people have experiences with existing languages. Developers that may have been like software engineers for decades may not have been introduced to Solidity yet because it is, it's a very new coding language. So before we jump into this, I'm actually going to quickly play a little clip from the interview today. So we'll watch that and then we'll continue with the presentation. Oh, bear with me. Okay, the clip what I have is not currently working. Okay, no worries. Just give me a second and I will find it. Actually, guys, I think this might be a problem because I'm not sure if my audio is connected to the output of the streaming software. Okay, give me a second. Apologies, guys.
I've heard talks about that, the EVM, so that part.
Right, okay, I think we might be back in business.
I've heard talks about that,
Cool.
the EVM, so that part of it can actually be replaced. Is that something that you would look at if the fees became too high? Or...
Yeah, so I think, well, first of all, I think EVM will, as Ethereum does move to Ethereum 2, they will probably also upgrade the Ethereum virtual machine to be more efficient, computationally superior. And we would be integrating the new versions of Ethereum virtual machine as it's come along. I actually see a slightly different structure, which I think would be interesting. Would be this is where I probably want to, definitely would be a long-term engineering project that would be governance led. For me, having lots of different Flare networks, all communicating with each other with two-sided state connectors, running different virtual machines. So that would be what I would think would be very interesting. Something like, one Flare network that is running. So this would all be considered Flare, and it would all use the same FLR token. But you could have one network that's maybe running EVM and has a double-sided state connector. So each network has state connector. And another network that's maybe running Agoric, or another network that's running a WASM type virtual machine, all of which can basically, the state connector can allow each network to come to consensus over what has happened on each other network, and each one's base token can be FLR. This is one of the reasons for Songbird. If you were ever going to contemplate something like that, that would be something you would want to absolutely run on Songbird for a very long time first. And again, that is a governance-led change. It's not a change that, it might be something that Flare puts forward in the future if it thinks that it is worth doing. It's not something that Flare can implement by itself. And it would require token holders to vote on it and to say, yes, we think this is a good idea, or no, we think this is a bad idea, using the governance process. Or it might be that someone else puts forward a similar idea, but maybe with different virtual machines. Maybe Flare says Agoric and that doesn't get voted in, but some other virtual machine does get voted in. So we will see. That's completely open. That's an open parameter.
Well, okay.
But that is like you asking me about the virtual machines and how I feel that those could be, used in the future. And my thinking is, rather than swapping out a virtual machine like Ethereum and just getting rid of it, which I think is probably unlikely because I can't see it ever becoming, unsuccessful. But just to simply add in more networks with different virtual machines that maybe offer different capabilities.
Wow, that's so much information to digest. That's
that
good.
Probably is. That there's just like there's a lot of things that could be done. Trying to figure out what the best thing to do is both something that obviously internally we spend a lot of time thinking about, but obviously it's something that has to be decided by governance. Not something that we can decide, because you're talking about huge resource allocations to do something like that. So, and that's that is an option, a cost really that would be, that has an option cost that essentially if the network asked the Flare Foundation to build that, then the Flare Foundation would not have the resources to do something else. And so that's why it has to be a governance-led thing, because it's basically the token holders saying, we don't want to go this path, but we do want to go this path, and we're prepared to, have the option cost of not going this path. And so that's a very important aspect of how we hope to proceed into the future.
Now, for me, that was the highlight of the AMA today, and I think this is really incredible. And Linux for PHP saying that it's definitely feasible, and we had Death Ranger up here saying that's end game. And I agree. I think it's a very ambitious thing to say, and it's reassuring that Hugo really has this longevity and these ideas which span much more past the launch of the initial network. So he mentioned Agoric as another virtual machine. And, this is a proof of stake chain utilizing secure JavaScript smart contracts. And basically, JavaScript is another one of these coding languages, and this is a very popular one indeed. So it means that the developers are not necessarily going to have to learn this brand new language called Solidity for the Ethereum virtual machine. They're actually going to be able to use their existing knowledge and build smart contracts using a different virtual machine. And that's going to bring a lot more developers into the space. So let's carry on with the presentation here. So we know the Fleur network will be virtual machine agnostic. That's been common knowledge for a while. But Hugo is suggesting that this could be brought to fruition via multiple instances of Fleur which run different virtual machines. So, and each of these are going to be bridged together with a two-way state connector. So if you imagine this is the Fleur network, and then all of these different, we will call them like instances, they're going to have their own different virtual machine. So this one could be the Ethereum virtual machine, this one could be Agora, this one could be something completely different, and the Fleur network will just expand its umbrella. And this is not a definite plan. This is just a suggestion which Hugo has mentioned, but I think it makes incredible sense. So what are the benefits? So as I said before, it's going to bring more developers and applications onto the Fleur network. It means that developers, as I said, they're not going to have to learn this new language, which is very niche, let's say, or niche, however you want to pronounce it. And in turn, with more developers and applications coming to the network, it will increase the liquidity on the network, meaning there'll be more money running through it. And it also means that there'll be more variety in terms of decentralized applications, and with that brings improved reputation. People are willing to build on this, and you can just imagine that as a sort of a foundation. Lots of people willing to build on it, so it should be something very exciting. And this essentially creates a feedback loop, because the more developers and applications that build on it, the more useful the network is. The more liquid it is, the more variety, the improved reputation. And this just continues as each of these virtual machines are actually added. It just adds another dimension. And something else which Hugo mentioned is that these are going to be bridged together with a two-way state connector, meaning that the Fleur on the network will always exist within all of these applications. It's not going to be 100 billion Spark tokens, for this particular EVM, and the same for that. It's all going to be sharing the same Spark token. And that means that, if developers want to test, or people want to use these applications, it's going to require, it's going to give a higher demand for the Spark token itself, and that in turn will raise the price. So that's pretty much the presentation. I do have some other bits and bobs that I would like to show you today, and one of them being this great infographic here created by Cyan Arts. And we'll quickly read through this for those who may not fully have a grasp of the Songbird network yet. So this is comparing both the Fleur network and the Songbird network. So let's check out the purpose. Songbird is going to be a fully functioning Layer 1 smart contract enabled blockchain to serve as a testbed for the Fleur mainnet and lasting platform for decentralized apps to test and optimize prior to launching on Fleur. Now, Fleur is the institutional grade Layer 1 smart contract blockchain solution. So this is almost like the very secure side of things, and having been thoroughly tested, Oh, Susie, thank you so much for the $2.99. Very much appreciated. And we got a little funky pair there with the thumbs up. Thank you so much, Susie. And we have the native assets on the token. So if you're holding on the Songbird network, you're going to have the Songbird token, and the ticker symbol is SGB. And as we know on the Flare network, it's going to have the Spark token, ticker symbol FLR. Now, I believe someone was asking about this in the chat. There's not going to be this extra distribution that we normally see with the Spark token, with the 3% or so every month after the launch. On the Songbird network, 15% is going to be distributed, and that's it. After that, it will be 10% inflation for what we're beginning to call the Songbird time series oracle. So the Songbird network is going to have its own oracle, just like the Flare network will. And that just means that the data providers are going to push out two payloads, two sets of information to each of these time series oracles. And for you, that means that you can vote for double the amount of data providers, and you could potentially earn double the rewards. So we did talk about the distribution method, and yes, this is just for XRP holders who were holding during the snapshots of the 12th of the 12th, 2020. And basically, if you are accumulating the Spark IOUs, this is irrelevant in regards to the Songbird network. And I know that's upset many people, but that's the way it is, I'm afraid. The airdrop ratio for every XRP you held during the snapshot, you will get 0.1511 Songbird, and in comparison to how much Spark you will get 1.0073 for every XRP you held. So let's talk about the integrated protocols. So the Songbird network will first launch for decentralized applications to test and optimize their applications. The Songbird time series oracle, the stake connector system, and S-asset protocol will onboard sometime after. So these are not going to be there initially. And, you know, the S-asset is comparable to the F-asset protocol, and they're basically just a duplication of networks, essentially, but they're not going to be launched initially. So the built-in rewards, as I said earlier, you can delegate your Songbird token to a Songbird time series oracle data provider to earn yield, and that comes from the inflation of 10% per year. And there will not be any predefined rewards for minting S-assets. S-assets being like F-assets, but on the Songbird network. Now, that's the exact same for the Flare network, but you will have designated reward pools, and you have the general reward pool, which encompasses the majority of F assets, and then you also have the Litecoin specific reward pool, which will be just distributing rewards for those who hold FLTC. Finally, we have the governance features, limited governance role, and is subordinate to Flare. And on the Flare side of things, full dominance governance role as outlined in the Flare white paper. So that's really great if anyone would like to see that. I'm actually going to put this in the chat. And also, if you guys haven't checked out Tim's YouTube video yet, I would highly recommend it. It's about an hour long, and there's some great information there. I'm actually going to put it in the description. I haven't yet, but that is something I'm going to do as soon as this stream ends. So before we wrap up, I would like to let everyone know that the Bifrost wallet is coming out, well, in 15 hours and 40 minutes. Now, before you get too excited, this does not mean you're going to be able to create your Spark wallet and, you know, do all these things that you think you may be able to, because the Flare network has not launched yet, okay? So imagine that this is just a normal wallet. Obviously, you can see they have different assets here. So you'll be able to hold Ethereum, Dogecoin, Litecoin, XRP, etc. And yes, don't get too excited first, initially. And yeah, that's something to look forward to. I guess you could get used to the interface and, how to deposit and withdraw your assets. And then eventually, once the Spark token does launch, we will be able to see this specifically, this specific functionality, for example, delegating your vote. So I'm very much excited to see that. Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up today's stream. I do have some great infographics which was shared in the Flare Community Discord server, and I'll be going over them tomorrow, I believe. So stay tuned for that. So with that being said, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend, and take care, and look forward to the future content coming. So take it easy, guys, and until next time, I'm out.
Mission Control, we have liftoff.